give you an injury update before we get started here.
Please
do. You guys talk at all about Chuma Edoga today?
A brief mention, I think.
What did you call it as? Did you say that foot injury, boot, that kind of thing?
Foot injury, waiting for Broadus.
Yeah. Toe injury, MRI. They're waiting for that right now. So, yeah, he's dealing with a toe injury. He's had some medical problems during this camp. The low back, then he got the back spasms, then he got this. So, yeah, it's a toe injury. And they're waiting to see how significant this really is. With the player, I would be a little worried about this one.
Okay.
But yeah, that means that they're going to have to figure out some things at left tackle. But it also means that they can, go ahead and put Guyton out there.
That's what we want to see anyway.
Yeah, we all want to see Guyton. We all want to see Guyton. Do you want to start off with him, or you want to start off with Trey Lance?
Let's start off with Guyton.
Want to start off with Guyton?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions about Guyton? Anything come to mind, or anything before I get started? Do you have any questions on him?
How much better is he than when you first saw him at OTAs?
You know what? How much better is he than when I saw him at Oklahoma?
Okay.
That kind of thing. And that's a really, really good question, by the way. This is his very first rep that he had, or the very first play that he had. He went out and he kind of ducked his head. He was trying to kind of lunge into the guy a little bit, and and maybe stop the guy's charge from him. And right then and there, when he ducked, it kind of threw him off balance. And then all of a sudden, you're seeing wait a minute, this is why this guy has athletic ability. So head goes down into the block, hands kind of go forward. He's a little bit top heavy. Then all of a sudden, it's like he realizes okay, I got to get out of this. And he's able to kind of go forward and then sit down and then recover in the block, all while the rusher is coming up the field on him. So he's trying to stop a charge. He's now overextended, and it's looking like it's going to be in bad shape. And then he's able to kind of recover and get back in the block and then stay in position. He had 12 pass plays where he was involved, and he only gave up no pressures in that. He was single blocking 75% of the time. So he was just him and his guy in this one. And his run blocking, I'll tell you where he's gotten better, guys. I didn't think he was a really, really good run blocker.
Yeah.
Maybe in space. And, Zach, you saw him as well. There were some questions okay, this guy can pass block. He's an athlete. He gets in space. You can move him around, that kind of thing. But when it comes to coming off the football, there's really a sense of urgency to his game when he comes off, because it's kind of okay, I've got to get this block. I got to get over here. I can't be lazy with my technique. Can't miss with my hands. He's coming off the ball with some pop and some snap. I was sitting there when I was watching the tape. Their edge there. I always jack this name up. It's Van Valkenburg is what he's number 51.
I loved every time they showed his last name.
Yeah,
on
Van
the screen.
Valkenburg.
My gosh.
Van Valkenburg. And Van Valkenburg, when he was against anybody else, was kind of playing pretty good.
He was.
And then when he went against Guyton, Van Valkenburg was not a factor. He just wasn't. I mean, that was a tough ask to have to deal with a guy coming off the ball and getting movement in the running game. And there was one time where they run that. One of my favorite plays is this crack toss. I love when they run crack toss because it gets the ball to the edge. Now, they didn't get it out there quick enough, but, man, it was a hell of a block. I mean, here they've got little Jalen Cropper in there cracking, and he's holding up. I mean, he's kind of fighting, and it's and all of a sudden, Guyton's kind of all right, let me help you here. And he just destroys. I mean, shoves, the edge out of the way. And here's both guys go flying.
Yeah, Cropper took a good chunk of that, too.
Yeah, Cropper got hit. Van Valkenburg got hit. Everybody got hit on the play. They couldn't get the ball to the edge, but it was one of those things where you were kind of like, here's a guy in space, here's a guy playing with power, here's a guy, the assignments and stuff. For a guy that missed all of practice last week, basically, that was a pretty solid game that he played. And now with Adoga being out probably for a bit, you're going to see quite a bit of Guyton getting that work, and I think we're all happy about that.
Sounds
awesome
like a home run pick.
Yep.
I think he can get a lot stronger still, which is insane.
He can.
Yeah.
He can. And, he's a thin guy, really.
Yep.
I mean, when you look at him, and even with him being sick, it looks like he's lost some weight. He kind of slimmed down. Maybe he wasn't feeling great and not eating and all that. But they were talking about it's kind of like a pneumonia situation that he was dealing with.
Sounds kind of like COVID to me.
COVID, pneumonia, yeah.
It's an upper respiratory pneumonia.
Upper respiratory problem.
Days.
Yeah, respiratory problem there. All right, Trey Lance, can we get into that one a little bit?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, Trey Lance, what we saw at camp with Trey Lance has gotten better from what you guys saw to the time, and he's gotten a little better. But there's still things about Trey Lance's game that will give you pause. And when you watch the tape of him throwing the ball, he missed some open throws yesterday. And I mean open throws of open reads. There were a couple of times there where he could have thrown touchdown passes in this game. And he didn't even it was like, okay, I'm supposed to go here. And instead of maybe Dak, maybe Cooper Rush, maybe the lack of experience hurts him here, but there was a couple of different times where he missed Cropper right down the middle of the field that would have been a touchdown. Instead, he throws and the ball gets knocked down, it's incomplete. But Cropper runs the route and is just nobody's with him. And if Trey just kind of just says, okay, I'm just gonna take the snap, I'm gonna look, and I'm gonna see. Maybe he was going to read that. Okay, I can't throw it here, but if I hit Cropper up the seam here, it's going to be a touchdown. So that was a little bit disappointing. They run a play late in the game, and this would have for sure. Princeton Fant, the tight end, they're playing him like a wing. So now we've got a regular like a tackle and a tight end, and then Fant's playing like a back, like a wing or like an H, and they're going to run a wheel, which they're going to run the wheel with Fant, but they're going to stretch the safety. It's actually a really good design, and Nathaniel Pete, the running back, goes flying out of the backfield towards the sidelines. So all of a sudden now the safety thinking he's got to carry Pete. Well, Fant's now wheeled up the field, and Trey Lance didn't throw him the ball. And to me, it was like you called this play with this in mind, that like you set this up with, okay, throw it here because we're going to get a favorable matchup and we're going to see if that safety flies with the running back. And he did. And it left Fant wide open.
Well, it was like that quick out to Cropper that he waits. Now he throws it to him, and by the time he gets the ball, he's on the sideline. And he ends up being tackled short. Get the ball out, allow him the ability to get the ball and turn upfield. That's what the play is designed for.
Yeah, it was a couple, like, okay, now the fourth down throw, this is a throw that, again, you guys were here for some of it, but when they get down tight red zone, they work on this throw. This is a throw that Dak makes, Cooper Rush makes. They all make it. They all get this throw. And I just felt like, and I've seen Trey Lance complete this one before. So it was a little bit of like, oh, okay, well, that's tough. Just run it, keep the drive going. Or, hey, go ahead. Okay, you want to take a chance, fine. I've seen Lance complete this one. Felt like, though, his passes yesterday were not where they needed to be with accuracy. He made his receivers really have to work in this game. I mean, there were guys that the slants, some of the balls really behind guys yesterday. And then that touch pass that he overthrew in the red zone there, man, that I know he wants that one back. He just threw it too far. You know, you got separation from the slot. The route's good, and now it's just about fitting it to the back pylon there, and he just threw it too far. So unfortunately, you know, some of his throws were good. Some of them were behind guys. He missed some throws in that game yesterday. Probably could have had a couple of touchdown passes. And I'm going to say the one to Fant was probably a call play, and I don't know why he didn't go that direction, because he would have had a sure touchdown for that one as well.
Man, I'm really wondering, Brian, is it worth a roster spot?
Yeah, I think they're going to keep 3. I think they're going to keep 3 here, and you know, there's that the investment that they made with the 4th round pick. They're hopeful. My gut feeling on this one is they're hopeful that more practice, more game, more exposure, that some things kind of clean up for him. But when you saw him, he wasn't very good. When you guys were here, he wasn't good. I think like he's gotten better with some of the touch, some of the accuracy. But he got in that game yesterday when he didn't face pressure. The metrics will tell you that they were 2 of 8 when he faced the blitz for 10 yards. So that's something that maybe some more pressure periods for this guy and let him kind of maybe get a little bit more comfortable. But there was some opportunity on that game I felt like that he left on that field, and hopefully he'll get it back when he sees the tape, and then they play the Raiders next Saturday.